Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR with the latest on the tropics. And out there today of main concern in the Atlantic, and not really that much of a concern yet, is a area of low pressure in the southwest Caribbean Sea. And this moved off the coast of South America here, and it continues off towards the west-northwest. And you can see it's bursting convection. It has been all morning and all afternoon so far. And it looks like it's going to move somewhere up in this general direction over the next couple of days, and that's why we need to watch it carefully. Let's take a look at the animated loop of it as it continues off towards the west-northwest. You can see it left the coastline, and now it keeps moving in that direction. And the wind flow with it, keep in mind, is right over the top of it, but it's not directly into the system, so that's why it's being able to burst convection. Plus, a little bit of wind shear sometimes irritates the system and causes it to persist and burst, which is what we look for if we're looking for development persistence. Now, this will likely move over Central America in the next, say, 18 to 24 hours and not really be that much of a concern for tropical development, at least not in the short term. However, if this disorganized area tightens up over land or at least persists, it may enter the northwest Caribbean Sea or the southern Gulf of Mexico and might be able to do something. Now, we don't know for sure if that's what's going to happen, but we're going to have to wait and see. You can see the wind flow here is, as I mentioned, off generally towards the west, and that should push the system over Central America. But when you have loose systems like that, they could sometimes wrap up a little bit more if they are over land. That's not unheard of. Now notice this feature in the Midwest here that's going to continue off towards the east. This might give our system a little bit of a tug to the northwest rather than the west-northwest, and if that happens, then we might see it exit into the Gulf of Mexico or into the northwest Caribbean Sea. You can see wind shear with it. Keep in mind these high wind shear values in the Caribbean are mainly due to the system here as it flows. The flow to the north is very favorable on it, and that's why you're seeing those high wind shear values. Of course, here in the northwest Caribbean Sea, you have a brief area of very low wind shear, and this is all going to be changing as patterns shift. The wind shear shifts as well. You can see the sea surface temperatures for it, no problem down here. They're certainly warm, and they continue to warm. In fact, off the west coast of Florida, 90 degrees. Off the coast of Louisiana, we saw 86 degrees today based on buoys. So we continue to see the waters get very warm. Now, this is the GFS, and the GFS has the system right now. You can see it down there in the moisture. It's safe down here. But notice what happens over the next 5 days. It brings the system up into the northwest Caribbean Sea. Doesn't turn it into anything strong, but it does end up bringing it in towards the Gulf Coast there, towards Louisiana. So that is our system that we're watching right now, that the GFS takes on a track like that. Now the NAM, which picks up much more potently on systems like this, has our system exiting right here in about 84 hours, the Yucatan, and that's the track that it appears to be taking right now, rather than one further to the north. But again, if this system up to the north over the eastern U.S. gives the system enough of a tug, it could pull it to the north a little bit further. This is considering there's much left of it. Again, there might not be much left of it after it moves over land, but systems like this, as the NAM shows, tend to keep their organization despite moving over land. There's a lot of hot water around it, and of course the system's already ragged, so it's not like it's moving over land and disorganizing. It's just moving over land and continuing to be disorganized. So if the NAM plays out, we'd probably be looking at a tropical storm of some type in the western Gulf of Mexico. From there, whether it would continue into Mexico or get drawn further north, and what the environmental conditions would be for strengthening, we just can't tell at this point. But it is certainly something we're going to have to keep watching over the next day or two. And maybe even 3, 4, or 5 days, because if you look at the GFS, this is 6 days it heads towards Texas, Louisiana. In the rest of the Atlantic off the coast of Africa, it's still kind of early out there, but we do see a pretty strong tropical wave. And this wave, actually, the long-range GFS at 0Z, makes this wave a tropical system into the Louisiana-Texas border, believe it or not. So even though it's early and we won't see development way out here, watch where these waves go, because down the road they could always do stuff. The Madden-Julian Oscillation, the MJO, the favorable phase is currently over the other part of the world right now in the Indian Ocean and over parts of Russia, China, and the Australia region, and that's why we're not seeing any development in the Eastern Pacific, Western Pacific, or the Atlantic, although in the Eastern Pacific yesterday we got a good blow-up of convection that briefly became an invest. But this oscillation is going to continue to push to the east, and that should be entering the Western Pacific over the next several days, and then eventually the Eastern Pacific and the Atlantic, right in time for early July, and we could see some development from it, so it's not out of the question. But that's the latest on the tropics. I'll be back next time, and we'll watch the system right now. Nothing imminent, but certainly an interesting feature to keep an eye on in case development occurs.